He called me on 5-2. Nick called me. I got the phone number. I done put the phone number down he called from, and I put CAT&T phone bill. And then the next day, I filed a police report in East Orange. I gotta go look back. See police report. I think I was still home though. I gotta look at my thing. Police report. So I guess I called East Orange to file. I don't think I had went back. I remember my parents moving me out. We gonna fill the gap. But look, look what I had in my hand too. Remember how the rest of these parts, I've been going back and reading what 20-year-old me said. And that last one, I'm over here cooking. I'm just calling off the top of my dome. I'm gonna read what I wrote days, several, looks like this was weeks after probably, me recalling what happened. Because I really couldn't open my eyes all the way until, remember, when you seen that picture 6 days out. So I'm just glad that I, at the point, had the whatever to write this down and track this, because I bet all of this would have been blocked. So I'm reading 20-year-old Roxanne. Look at the handwriting. When you still write good, right? The first morning in the hospital was so hard. A nurse brought in the article in the local paper, which attempted to tell what happened. This article said that my injuries were not life-threatening. The nurses tried their best to clean me up because I still had dried up blood and dirt all over my body. I asked for a mirror, but they would not let me look at myself. I remember that. I remember, I told you, I don't know if they covered it, whatever they did, they would not let me look at myself. By the third day in the hospital, I was able to walk again. Slowly, but with help, I could walk. Without the help, I would fall over due to my right eye being swollen shut and my left barely open. Then I tell you, that's what I remember with my eyes. In addition, due to the numerous head blows, dizziness would set in. And this is what later on my mom told me. When she got me back here, she took me to our doctors here. And when they told her I may have issues with memory and things like that with my brain. And then you fast forward here, several degrees, PhD, certified this, certified that. Like, shout out to Sony who said in my comments, now I know why you go so hard. Because can't nothing beat me if this didn't take me down. As I lay in the emergency room, so I think my papers got mixed up and I'm missing one. But as I lay in the emergency room naked, so maybe this was the first page. I read it backwards. I'm sorry. As I lay in the emergency room naked, covered in blood and dirt, I can hear the medical staff arguing about what to do with me first. One nurse wanted to get the rape kit out of the way, but the gynecologist took hours to come down. They were not allowed to do anything with me until the rape kit was complete. At this time, I began learning of my injuries just by hearing them based on the medical terminology being used in discussion. I remember I was in school. I was a physical therapy major. Then I switched over. I was a physical therapy major for like my first 3 years. I had no idea that I was cut. None whatsoever. Wow. I guess that I remember, but in that moment laying on I had no idea I was cut, none whatsoever. Because I was covered in soil and dirt, this potted soil, the staff had to rinse my cold, naked body off in peroxide, iodine, etc. in order for them to locate all of my cuts and stab wounds. Oh my God, the burning pain. I remember that. I remember that feeling. And I remember the screams I had. I remember that. And then I put in here, just imagine open gashes, not small cuts, but puncture wounds being rinsed in peroxide and brushed with some type of medical instrument to get the dirt out of the wound. I cried and cried and cried. After all of this being sutured, x-rayed, CAT scans, I finally got to see my mother at 8 p.m. that night. So 8 hours. I had spent 8.5 hours in the ER. I still did not make it into a hospital room until 10 p.m. that night, bandaged up and totally unaware of how I looked and how bad the damage was. Now, I'm about to hunt for this page of paper because I got an arrow. Maybe the arrow was to this when I said first thing in the morning. So I read it backwards, but I'm going to chop it there, y'all. I'm going to chop it there and we going to come back And the additional pieces I want to tell you, like how the court system treated me, and how when you are a victim of crime, you know, it's one thing where the defense, they get to have their attorney, but you get the prosecutor, and the prosecutor want to get cases off the books. You know, and me not knowing, we didn't know that they had in their file that I had drugs in my system. So they were treating me like that. Like, her mama says she didn't do drugs, but whatever. But I did not know until we got an investigator. And the investigator said, you know, there was drugs in your system. It was like, what? So they were treating me like that. I didn't know while this was all going on, and even the initial first few months, that I had, that their report showed drugs in my system until we had to get an investigator. So I'm going to talk about the follow-up, and the other ones, just talk about my bounce back and what that looked like, and trying to understand how, as Dr. Dawn said, I was in denial and avoiding, and when I graduated and how I graduated. So we will continue. Thank you.